back to the Brewery Explorers Podcast. My name is Noah Jones, here with my brewery buddies Eric Burgasser and Blake Longfellow. Boys, how are we doing?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
You know, it's been a really long time since we've gotten together, and when I tell you that I'm really excited about this conversation, I mean it. Earlier this month, Garage Beer Company announced 2 new co-owners that I guarantee you've heard of. And no, our guest is not Travis Kelce. Unfortunately, he was too busy dancing in London with Taylor Swift. But we do get to welcome to the show the Vice President of Marketing at Garage Beer Company, Corey Smale. Welcome to the show, Corey.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So I think off the bat, a lot of people in Cincinnati have maybe not quite understood what happened to Garage Beer and the sort of spinoff that happened with Braxton and turning it into Garage Beer as its own entity. Can you sort of talk us through what happened there?
Yeah, I guess maybe like 18 months ago, maybe 2 years, I forget now. Essentially, like the brand Garage Beer was purchased from the brewery Braxton, and they still retain some ownership and still make some of the beer. We just kind of wanted to create a new platform for the brand Garage Beer particularly, and put some more efforts behind that. So, we've been I guess it's been its own entity, like I said, for about 18 months now. Still have a working relationship and friendship with Braxton, so all good there. We're just, like I said, trying to put the brand itself sort of on a rocket ship, and see where it goes.
And speaking of putting on a rocket ship, it seems like the spinoff of Garage Beer has focused on growth throughout the country. Can you just share like some of your most favorite or successful ways that you've been able to grow this brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's still Midwest like ethos. We're all still like either in Ohio, I'm in St. Louis, or Kentucky where Zane's at. So we're all like in the central/eastern time zone. I think we have aspirations to go nationwide. That'd be sick. But at the same time, I think maybe what sets us apart from other beers that we're competitive with is that there is still a focus on quality. I should say like a higher focus on quality. And so we still want to retain that. So we're not in we want to expand as quickly as we can, but without compromising quality along the way, And sometimes you can really expand very quickly, and sometimes you lose that. So we're just trying to toe that line right now.
Because we've seen evidence that craft beer kind of has gone through a little dip since 10 years ago. So tell me what your marketing strategy on trying to get people to drink the beers.
I think like craft, personally, myself included, I definitely was drinking like donut flavored beers a decade ago, and like 12% IPAs. And I just think that I think that stuff is still sick. Like I love that there's a space for it, but I think myself and a lot of our audience, like our core demo included, have just kind of aged out a little bit of that. Not like from a maturity, but more just like from a lifestyle perspective. Our metabolism isn't getting faster as we get older. I'm about to be 40 this year, which is different than when you're 29. I also think just something like light and refreshing is just, I don't know, it's just kind of what we're looking for. I think like a few summers ago when seltzers were popping off, I don't really think that people were like, I love the berry flavor. I think they just liked that it was light and crisp and refreshing. And then, the thing is that light beer's been that the whole time, but I do think it's kind of lost a little bit of the quality along the way at some points, So we just, I guess in terms of marketing it, we just want to remind people that light beer can be great and put a brand out there that's, I think, relatable to an audience, And that doesn't just include myself. I think we're starting to see that resonate with lots of different audiences.
Yeah, you guys have the beer flavored beer sort of mantra. At least it's on a billboard in Cincinnati that I pass by every once in a while. I'm drinking a Garage Beer with lime. Do you guys see any varieties coming other than those 2 things for a while? Or are you just going to sort of stick to that sort of beer flavored beer?
I think we're just going to do this for as much as we can. Yeah, we like the lime too. It's a nice variety, but yeah, our intention was just to kind of keep pushing light beer, good quality light beer as much as we can.
Okay, cool.
I also see that you on LinkedIn you also work for Pabst. So what was that like working for there, and what can you take from Pabst to Garage Beer?
Oh, Pabst was sick. So I started out, before I worked at Pabst, I had a donut store, a few of them, and then I had a Chinese restaurant, and then that didn't work out, and so I started working for Pabst like 5 summers ago on Stag, which is like a regional brand. They own Pabst Brewing Company, as you guys probably know. They own like a ton of grandpa beer brands from around the country. And Stag is the one that's like near and dear to my heart, geographically and metaphorically. So sort of turned that brand around. It was in decline for almost 2 decades. We found a way to kind of connect with the younger consumer and audience through, I wouldn't say craft, but just more like returning to the roots of like who the audience are, what they're about, community, things of that sort. Then COVID happened and that rocked us, and then we started selling beers in like large packs, obviously, but doing cool stuff still that kept us connected to the community. So anyway, that worked out, and then I was brought to, I got called up from AAA to the major leagues, and then I worked on PBR, the mothership, which was cool. It's a really wild brand, historically, still is. I think what I had learned from that was like, if you look at some of the marketing we were doing at the time, it was about everything except for beer, It's like everyone already knew what PBR was and kind of what it stood for. What we were trying to do is find like little ways to connect with like these micro niche communities, which turned out to be like bigger than I think anybody anticipated, Like we got really into like wrestling, specifically like wrestling figures, really into like music, but specifically like hardcore music. Like, so just finding like little communities of people that are like 1,000 to 10,000, and then all of a sudden you maybe realize, oh shit, that's like 100,000 people who are like, brands don't really focus on. Like big brands are like casting really wide nets, Pabst has the opportunity, because it's rooted in sort of counterculture, to like go deep, and we really did that. I think that's probably the biggest thing I've taken from Pabst into Garage Beer is like, there's different audiences of people that are out there that I think are just kind of underserved from like a product, but also from like a brand and ethos perspective. So just trying to find those and like celebrate those. There's something like really cool about that. And when those customers and people feel seen, it's like, I don't know, it's really fun. And also it creates like great content, because it's like, all you have to do is like showcase what people are already doing,
Yeah, and speaking of Pabst being wild, I know I've seen some of their social media, and it seems like they have fun with it. Can you tell me some of the best stories when it comes to social media there? Whether it's
I got fired, I got fired for being wild on social media at Pabst. So I guess that's the best story. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that. They kind of just, I don't know. Brands are asked to go really far, brands like that especially. It's like, we got to be crazy. We got to be on the edge. Like a brand like that, it's hard to figure out where the edge is. You know what I mean? Like the brands like on South Park, like I don't know where the comedic line stops. But yeah, I mean, a lot of PBR is like calling our customers rats. Like celebrating people with like tattoos on their face. Like, I don't know, just like really wild things that brands aren't going to like normally put the spotlight on. We thought were very endearing. So the comms plan, I think, like accompanied that. And then I guess I took it too far in January of 2022. So I got fired. But part of that is why I'm here today. So everything works out, I guess.
So, but you were really clearly doing something well, because I saw that you had earned the PBR Marketer of the Year, which is super cool. So talk to us a little bit about how you earned that title before getting like,
I don't know, because it worked. Like self-awareness from brands actually works. Like speaking to people like people works. Like not putting everything through $100,000 photo shoot works. Like very like rudimentary stuff that I think like that's the way I want to connect with brands. So I just would speak the same language. You know what I mean? Like inherently, I always say this: like brands suck. Like often it's just like so gross and so transactional. You know, and it didn't always used to be that way. I remember being a kid, like my dad would go to 509, this drive-through liquor store, and they would like hook us up with like Spud McKenzie stickers, you know, and like Red Dog when that came out, and like I know it's just propaganda, but at the same time, it's like, oh, that's tight. Like a brand still like gives you something, you know? And like working on these old brands like Stag, like, dude, it's crazy. These brands were so ingrained in culture. Like I saw one of the rarest things I saw from this guy who had his crazy Stag collection was a Stag lipstick holder case. It was like brass and nice quality. And it's like, you know, like distributors probably handed that to like bar owners and like hook up their wives and stuff. Like, I'm like, that's crazy, you know? So I love that stuff, and some of that stuff is really DIY still to this day, and like we still incorporate it with Garage Beer. Like I had these like freaking Jason and Travis Kelce stickers where it's like if you send us an email with like a dumb idea for these guys to do, we'll just send you one of these stickers, and we'll keep sending you dumb stickers like like lime dolphins and like lime can just like a little bit goes a long way, and so I really think that that's very true. I still want to like do stuff where brands feel human. And I think self-awareness is the greatest lesson probably that I've learned in terms of marketing brands in beer and just in general.
Yeah, well, that's great. And so your company, as I mentioned earlier, had pretty massive news for the craft beer community earlier this month with the announcement that Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce are now part owners of Garage Beer Company. And when I heard about it, I thought that's perfect. I mean, they're Ohioans. They love beer, as they showed off almost every time they have a chance, but especially at the UC podcast that they did. They are sort of on top of the world. So the fact that they get to have some ownership in the company and they get to represent Garage Beer sounds like a total win for both sides. Can you talk to us a little bit about how it came together? I understand from a press release that they have sort of been in conversation with you all for about 2 years, but tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So like it's a little bit further back than that, straight up. Like, so Andy Sauer, our CEO, he previously had a company he started up called Hilo, Hilo, is like a nutritional gummy company. And he went to Travis, this is like 6 or 7 years ago. And was like, yo, like Ohio, like what you're doing. Would you want to endorse this brand? And he was like, yeah. And, it did well and they sold it together and, they just kept a good relationship. Andy's just like that dude. He's like very personable, like great. He's like a great CEO. He's just a really good dude who keeps good relationships going. And so I think he just kind of kept talking with Travis and Jason's teams. And like I say, yeah, it's been like 2 years in the works. Always very like challenging to pull like big deals off like that, you know, and I got to give all the credit to Andy for just like being patient and working with those guys and them too, like seeing in us like the opportunity to grow. It's exciting. Like you could definitely, if you're them, take like an automatic deal from a bigger brand, you know, you're not going to get equity. You'll get guaranteed cash though. And you just do the commercial and you get your check. And the opportunity with us is a little bit more like, hey, like we think we could do bigger than that, but it will require all of us to work really hard together. And so that's such like I don't know, that's a joy. It's a real privilege and it's humbling too, you know. These guys got a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of like automatic stuff they could get. So the fact that they're like, no, we want to like kind of get into the work and get into the weeds with you is pretty cool. And like I said, going back to the question, I think that's a testament to like just really good relationships, doing right by people, having good trust with people. And Andy and Travis, like I said, that foundation's been in the works for a while now.
Yeah. So the press release also that I read said that they're going to help oversee operations, including brewing, distribution, sales, marketing, and expansion. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that might mean without giving away your trade secrets?
Yeah, I mean, I think like as much as they can do, like we're down for them to get involved. You know, I think first starts from like a marketing thing. So like Jason has 1,000 ideas. So we're just like, okay, let's categorize those. Let's start working together to understand like what production looks like from an ABC level, like what that looks like to start creating those things, executing those things together. From a sales thing, obviously, and hopefully every grocery store in America within the next, year or so, you're going to see at the end cap like a giant cutout of Jason and Travis together, It also doesn't hurt to like leverage them with working like with our distributors, our new partners to bring them in, I don't know when we'll start making the beer together, but I do know that like quality is like of the utmost importance, and there's like some real like stuff written into our deal. It's like we got to maintain it at this level, It's very, very important to them and to us as well. So we were really excited that they were like from a brewing / quality level, that was of the utmost importance.
Sure. Well, I'm sure that if you got Jason and Travis to brew a batch or whatever, that would go pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, we're going to try and get them as much as we can. It's fun. They're just like, they're just everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, even trying to schedule them, it's like, you got to be like not days or weeks out, like months out, to get them in the same place. It's kind of wild,
Right.
But we're having fun with it. Jason can do anything. He's retired, so he can just go crazy. Right. Travis, we still got to be like a little clever with, current NFL player and rules and stuff like that. But yeah, so far it's like day, 13 or 14 that we've been doing this. And I would say that they've at least had some input on all of those things that we've mentioned in that press release. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's really great, because a lot of times you sort of hear about these celebrity people like, Peyton Manning, and it's like, well, how much is he actually doing at State Farm or whatever, Progressive?
Sure. No, you can look like Jason's like Twitter timeline, like he's like actively engaged with our customers, like replying to them, like if they have questions, he's hitting them back. It's quite impressive. So
yeah, that's awesome.
They are walking the walk and talking the talk.
And with just like all the connections they have like across the U.S. with Travis close to you in Kansas City, Jason obviously in that career in Philadelphia there's a multitude of benefits partnering with them, but also can you talk about like the importance of it, spreading this nationally and just expanding your guys' brand more?
Yeah, I think like pointing out those markets is super key. Obviously, like they're beloved nation and worldwide, but there's especially a particular connection that they have to these markets where they became stars, you know what I mean? And they've like lifted the city and vice versa. And they've won, they become world champions together. It's so crazy and impressive. So I think giving a lot of love to those markets is key. Having really great partners and distributors in those markets is also key. Philadelphia, we were already like crushing it in Philadelphia just because we have a great partner out there from like a PR level and from a distributor level. So like Ohio's our biggest state in terms of sales, but Philadelphia is actually our number one city and still is. So that was really cool. And it was just like, we just need to like add, accelerant to this fire that's already working. Kansas City, we should be on the shelves in like 2 or 3 weeks. I swear, like maybe 1,000 people a day are like, hey, where is this? And I'm in Kansas City. And I'm like, I just say a couple weeks. But no, we really should have it figured out here in like 2 or 3 weeks. So growing in those cities. And then, you can kind of like point in any direction around there. It kind of makes more sense to go from there. So like we've got Pennsylvania and Ohio and Illinois and Missouri going into Kansas City. So we'll probably be looking at like Kansas next, Colorado, start kind of just geographically working our way. Again, like we want to go as fast as we can, but we do not want to compromise quality, strategic decisions, or building good relationships. So it's we're just really like kind of cognizant about that balance right now.
And it seems like people are already buying more garage beer. We all went to several locations just to find it today. Have you been seeing more sales since the Kelce's joined?
Yeah, Philadelphia, they sold out of beer, which was like cool, but also kind of like so we got it there as fast as we could. But yeah, it's obviously I think it's double and maybe triple soon. The sales guys would know better, but we were on a call earlier and they kind of were talking like that.
Wow.
So it's going good.
Is it a goal for you guys to have Kansas City use garage beers to celebrate the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. They got to win again.
The Bengals
I have a
can win
feeling.
one first, though.
What'd you say?
The Bears.
The Bengals can win one first.
Oh yeah, Y'all guys said the Bears. Like I don't care about the Bears. Bengals. I fuck with the Bengals, dude. I'm from Missouri, so like St. Louis, we don't have a team anymore. You know, we had the Rams, was the shit, but then we don't have no team, and so like I'm kind of like I have allegiance to like these Ohio teams, and dude, the Bengals fans are like, it's a different breed, dude, because it's like it's got that country to it. You know what I mean? Which I like. So they're a little bit crazy. We got some real good friends out in Cincinnati. We'd be doing some cool stuff out there. Ted Karras from the Bengals, he's a partner in the brand and just a really, really cool dude. So
nice.
We're happy to be helping out there. He's got that Cincy hat. Like they're just, I don't know. It's so cool. We went to an event actually back in March with him where they did the tattoos. You know about this?
No.
No.
Okay, so like the Cincy brand, he has that Cincy hat, and it's like it's a fundraiser for Village of Marici, I think is what it's called. I might be getting that name wrong, but it's a foundation that's very near and dear to him, and all the benefits from those Cincy hats go to that foundation. And I don't know how it came up on Twitter. Actually, a friend of ours, Drew Garrison, who's like the craziest Bengals fan that I know. Actually, no, he's not, but there's a few of them because this one dude was dressed up like a Bengal at the thing. But anyway, he was like, "Yo, if you pay for it, Ted, I'll get this tattoo, this Cincy logo tattoo." And Ted was like, "Okay." And then it just kind of opened it up to where Ted, I guess, agreed to do it for like 400 people. So literally, like in March, we went to this event and we had the beard. It was on St. Patrick's Day, and like it was so cool, man. Like thousands of people came out. All these local tattoo artists like gave like over 400 people this Cincy tattoo. Ted paid for it all. We gave the beer away. Like it was just super, super cool. And like I say all that because it's like you don't have that connection in like a huge market. You know what I mean? Like that just isn't a thing. But in Cincinnati, like you could walk up, like the coach came, like other players on the teams were there. You could just walk up to him. You know what I mean? And we're like, "Hey, Ted, you rock." And he's like, "Hell yeah." It's just like, it was just so sick to see. Like, I love that about it. Like, I like small to medium markets. You can do more stuff and you can like just kind of relate more to your audience in some ways, you know?
Corey, I really enjoy watching the Beer a Man commercials, which I'm only hoping that you've had something to do with. I think that they're really funny. Can you talk a little bit about the inspiration for these?
Yeah, we're just trying to be the dumbest beer brand on the planet. So we tapped into this dude. He's out of Boston. It's Be a Man is the guy. And we were just like, it's so stupid, the content. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so stupid that like, I like it because you can see usually like 25% of people like get offended by it. And I'm not trying to offend people, but I'm like, clearly you're just not seeing that this is all a joke. You know what I mean?
Well,
and there's something very funny about that. So we just were like, hey, we just had a call with this team, you know, and like literally just like, we should just call it Beer a Man, you know, like you're Be a Man. And they were like, yeah, we should just call it that. And so we literally like, dude, just make more of these videos, but like we'll give you some beer to put in them, or you can wear a shirt or whatever. We really didn't want to like alter their format or their like sense of humor, so we just didn't, and we just kind of let them do their thing. And so the output is really just what they do plus beer equals Beer a Man.
I grew up watching St. Louis Cardinal baseball. I'm from St. Louis, if it's not obvious.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I grew up in Webster
We sucked
Groves.
in the 90s. Oh, okay. Yeah. We
Yeah.
sucked in the 90s, but we had Ozzy. He would do backflips. That was like the greatest part of the 90s for us. The dude would do backflips on channel 11.
Yeah, the WB.
And then we rocked forever.
Yep.
And now, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a very Cardinals-friendly podcast because Blake and I
Okay,
are
cool.
Cardinal fans.
I love the Cardinals, obviously. And I love, like, people in the Midwest like the Cardinals because the KMOX, you know, radio waves or whatever is, like, so strong, or AM radio at night, which I always thought was, like, a myth, but apparently it's scientifically true.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it is true. It's definitely true.
Yeah.
But the reason why I brought it up was because I didn't have cable growing up, so I would I would listen to it on KMOX, and every once in a while those Budweiser or Bud Light Real Men of Genius commercials came on. And
the best.
To this day, I think they might be one of the funniest commercials that I had ever heard of, and I kind of feel like the Beer Man they're similar, or at least their humor is in sort of similar departments. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like, I think we went into it being like, dude, we just want our own version of that, basically. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that shit is just so iconic. Like, I don't know how AB has fumbled the bag as bad as they have in recent years, because, like, all I grew up watching and enjoying was their commercials. Like, the Frogs, What's Up, Real Men of Genius. I mean, dude, they were untouchable for, like, I don't know, 20 years in a row, you know? But yeah, Real Men of Genius, it's definitely, I think it's like, Beer Man is our degenerate version of that.
I was wondering if you could just a thought exercise, give us the perfect setting, use your imagination, the perfect setting for enjoying a garage beer.
A garage.
Sure. A garage, 100%. Not too hot of a day, though. Right now it's like 90 something in St. Louis. It's like, even if you like, no, it's too hot. Maybe like, let's just talk temperature. Maybe like 83 degrees. Sunday afternoon, once you got all your chores done. Everyone's kind of in that lull time, you know. It's not quite supper yet. Maybe like 2 o'clock. Maybe you got some sports. Maybe you got the game on the radio. Or maybe you got like a TV. A lot of people got TVs in their garages now. Maybe it's like the Masters are on or something. And you're just kind of chilling, you know. And you got, you know, your beer fridge. Ice cold. I mean, you see these boys dripping. You see that? We keep them 33. And yeah, and that's it. And the sounds, there's just sounds of that. Maybe you got 2 houses down, you know, the guy's cutting the grass. Maybe next door the sprinklers running. Maybe you got some kids yelling in the background. And like, I don't know, you're just kind of zenned out because you got like, you know, a lawn chair, a cooler to kick your feet up on, and some cold beers to drink. Like, it's really simple, you know what I mean? Like, all this marketing, like some of these brands, they try and create these like aspirational like thoughts or ideas that are just so unrelatable to the common like regular ass people, you know? So I think like a dream scenario to me, if you will, is just like some shit you could probably pull off next Sunday, you know?
Gotcha. Well, Corey, we really appreciate your time on the podcast.
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
Can you tell us how people can find you on social media? And then also, before you answer, I just wanted to say that I used your website the map on your website to find beer. And since it is so hard to find your beer, I would definitely suggest anyone interested in buying garage beer to go to your website, which is garagebeer.com, right?
Drinkgaragebeer.com.
Okay. So, and then there's a
Who
map.
owns garagebeer.com? Let's go to that. What is that? Oh, we have that too? Dude, what's up? Yeah, garagebeer.com. We got that. I didn't even know we had that.
Awesome.
Learning something new every day.
Great.
Go to our website, garagebeer.com. That's funny. Or Drink Garage Beer. They both go to the same place. And yes, the beer finder is good. We're trying to update it all the time. We're increasing our distribution very quickly, and usually once we hit a market, it takes like maybe 2 or 3 weeks for that thing to update. But then all of a sudden, you'll go from like nowhere where you live having it to like 35 places. So it works out. You can find us on social media at Drink Garage Beer, and I think that's it.
All right, awesome. Well, Corey, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this show, please share it with your drinking buddies. The Brewery Explorers is hosted by Eric Burgasser, Blake Longfellow, and me, Noah Jones. Our video is edited by Eric Burgasser. I also produce this podcast. We have social media, and we'd love to connect with you. You can find us at Brewery Explorers on Instagram and Facebook. Type in www.breweryexplorers.com to visit our website. The Brewery Explorers Podcast is a part of the NoJo Creative podcast family. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.